Hi garden friends, welcome to the channel. I'm Era and this is Gardening on Purpose. If you're new here, welcome. And if you're a subscriber, welcome back. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch my video. I garden in Georgia, Zone 8A, where I do gardening related videos. For today's video, I want to highlight a few plants that are blooming in my garden. It's hot, it's humid, but there's some guys that are still putting out the blooms. So let's check them out. First up, we have the Serendipity Allium. Look how this guy is covered in bees and butterflies. They really like it. They like it that much that they're not bothered by me taking this video. I'm going to try to come in close to this butterfly here. He is not even worried. Now, I have 3 of them going that way, and I have another 2 going down that way. They are looking great. Now, these guys, they bloom in the dead of the summer, which is why they're looking so great now and not too bothered by this terrible heat. Here's my Pugster pinker butterfly bush covered in 2 different types of the swallowtail butterfly. They really like butterfly bush. You guys know I have several types of butterfly bushes, but they're right here and they're enjoying this pinker. Now this butterfly bush here, it needs to be cut back because you can see there's a lot of spent blooms, but there's still a lot of blooms on here. So they're looking great so far. And then right next to the Pugster pinker, we have the famous white-eye phlox. This beauty here is covered in bees, guys. And this one is one of the longest blooming phlox in my garden. Now remember, with phlox, you got to be careful. Don't water it overhead and try to plant it at least 18 inches apart. You can see mine doesn't have any powdery mildew, and they are susceptible when they are too close and there's not enough airflow, but they are looking great. I'm just so happy to see all these, all these guys enjoying my garden. Moving on to the Pugster amethyst of the butterfly bush. Here, this guy loves this one here, and another one that I need to cut back a little bit. But when I say cut back, I'm not going to cut the plant itself back. I'm going to actually deadhead. That's what I should say. Deadhead, because again, you're seeing way more spent blooms than you are seeing actual blooms. And now this guy here, when they market it to us, they said that you don't have to deadhead. But of course, deadhead looks better, and deadhead allows for more of the younger blooms to come out. My autumn joy sedum is getting ready to put on a show. You can see it's all the way green, but then a certain part of it looks like this nice little pastel-y pink. That means it's getting ready to turn into that beautiful color. And the more it turns and the blooms open, is the more you're going to see the butterflies show up on this guy. I can't wait for you to see that one when I finally get around to showing it to you. Here's another of the Pugster pinker butterfly bush, and again, a butterfly is enjoying it right there. And again, this one here, these are all clearance plants, might I say. These are all Lowe's clearance plants. Shout out to my Lowe's garden folks, of absolutely amazing staff at my Lowe's. They are absolutely great. Half the time when the plants are not really on clearance, I get them on clearance because, I have a great relationship with them. So these were usually, I think I ended up paying like $15 for a 2-gallon, looking really nice. Also starting to bloom right now is the kaleidoscope abelia. Love these guys because they have all the colors of the kaleidoscope, and they have these beautiful little white blooms. The bees love them. Here's another abelia. This one here is the Canyon Creek, one of my favorite flowering shrubs because it's evergreen and because it brings in a ton of the swallowtail butterflies. This guy here, I had it here the other day. Well, not the other day. Last year I moved it from somewhere over there. I had it and I moved it over here because it was taking up too much space, and it took really well to the move. I'm so happy to report that. Not sure what's going on with my Mexican petunia, but on this big plant, I only have 2 blooms. One right there and one right there. I'm beginning to think it has something to do with the heat. Maybe it's heat stressed or something, or maybe it needs more water. Last year I had way more blooms. This guy is not invasive. I know a lot of people say that this is invasive. It is not invasive in my area. It's invasive in certain parts of Florida, but we get a winter. We get a cold enough to knock it back completely. Yes, it does spread, but it's not on the invasive status yet. I am such a fan of this guy ever since I got it. I bought this guy from Loganville at Grove's Outlet. right? And it has taken so well to my yard, guys. Look at these beautiful blooms. And might I say, the hummingbirds absolutely adore it. Now, I had done a couple of videos talking about the #1 plants for hummingbirds, and I actually have agastache in the top of that list. But I think that the black and blue salvia might actually take over because this whole week alone, guys, the hummingbirds have been just going in on this guy. If you like hummingbirds and if you're looking to bring in this guy, this is the black and blue salvia. Does amazingly well in my garden with these really nice blue and black blooms. I talk about this guy a lot. This one here is the meant-to-be queen nectarine agastache, another plant that is loved by the hummingbirds, another plant that can take the heat, and it is blooming. Now, this guy here might be time for a little cutback, and I will do that, but I love these guys so, so, so much. I've got 2 butterfly bushes here that I also got from the folks at Loganville, Georgia at Growers Outlet, and here's one. You could see a monarch right there. See that monarch right there? He's enjoying it, right? I'm so happy when I see monarch. I mean, I love swallowtails too, and I love all the different types of butterflies, but when I see a monarch in my garden, I know I've arrived. I mean, look at him right there. He must be like, get away from me. But in any case, the butterfly bush itself is looking great. Right next to that butterfly bush is my Kelvin Floodlight Dahlia. I am so in love with this. This guy here, I had bought it as the tuber. Now, you guys know all the dahlias that I have in my yard, they were bought as tubers from either Lowe's, Walmart, or Home Depot. And I jumpstart them in February, and then I plant them out later on when the frost is gone. Here's the Kelvin Floodlight, looking great, a really nice yellow. This guy here is hardy to zone 8. I don't have to dig up my dahlias. My dahlias come back. Now, not every single dahlia comes back, I must say, but most of them, 90% of them do come back. And that's simply because of the clay. You know, sometimes they do rot underneath there, but the Kelvin Floodlight is looking absolutely amazing. Now, although my Thomas Edison's foliage is not looking amazing, the actual flower is, right? Here it is, Thomas Edison. Now, these are considered to be dinner plate because they're at least 8 inches wide, right? And obviously I have to stake them because these particular dahlias don't really stand up well. Yeah, so I'm really, really liking that. All right, let's see what else we want to see. Here's another one of the black and blue salvia that's taken well to my yard. I'm just so, so happy about it. Another one of the autumn joy sedum that's doing well. My Rosa Sharons are very impressive right now, guys. They enjoy the heat and they are beautiful. Now, this one here is the pink chiffon, and you can see it's all budded up and all flowering. Right next to that one is the blue chiffon. Now, the blue chiffon is not 100% blue, but it's like a violet-y blue, and again, all budded up and in really nice blooming. And then right next to that one is the sugar tip. Here's the sugar tip foliage, and then here's the sugar tip flowers. Very, very happy with the Rosa Sharons. You guys know the story of how I bought them and I wasn't happy with the vendor, and then they, after year 1 and year 2, they finally got to where I want them to be. This is a crepe myrtle. This is part of the Delta series. These beauties here have this really nice fuchsia pink. They thrive under heat, guys. When it heats up, that's when the crepe myrtle decides to turn it on. Love the dark foliage. Love the fuchsia colors. Really, really nice. This is the perennial lobelia. This one here is really, really nice and loved by the hummingbirds. Now, I am noticing that a part of the plant is laying down. I got to figure out if something stepped on it or whatever it is, it needs to be staked or something. But I love these guys. I've captured so many hummingbirds on this plant so far. So I'm really, really happy to see that. Then we have the Rose Creek abelia right here. Another abelia in my yard that does really, really well. Right? Again, a clearance plant from Lowe's that is taken really, really well to my garden. My pollinators really, really love it. Here is the summer long magenta, one of the longest blooming agastaches in my yard. Always, always covered in bees, and the butterflies love it too, guys. Now, it's been blooming for a very, very long time, so it looks a little bit tired, but it can go all the way down to our frost, guys. On to some containers, guys. This is the Miss Huff Lantana that I still Still haven't put this guy in the ground because I still don't have anywhere to put it. Um, so this guy here is going to be the perennial one, the one that comes back if I protect it or put it in the garage. Love this beauty here. So do the butterflies, so do the hummingbirds, and so do the bees. I have 4 of them in my containers right here. Right, and then I also have some phlox that I had gotten on clearance. I think this is the flame blue and the flame purple phlox. Doesn't look that great because I just bought it, right? And I just put it in here and I didn't want to cut it back yet. You recognize these guys here. This is the black-eyed Susan that I don't know the name of, but it's doing really, really well and just blooming, blooming, blooming. Like I said earlier, I'm going to dig this guy out come fall and put it somewhere else because it's taken over the bed. I have a sedum in here that is kind of pushing against. I have some other things in here like an anemone that is pushing against. It's just taking up too much space. So speaking of the anemone, this is the Fall in Love Sweetly anemone. This is from the folks at Proven Winners, and I had got this on clearance years ago. I didn't realize this thing spread so much. I put it at one place, and this too. So this bed is like a bed of spreaders, because not only is the Black-eyed Susan spreading, so is the anemone. It's a beautiful plant, and usually it will bloom when it's cooler. But here we are in the dead of summer, and this thing is beginning to put on open blooms. Now, it's okay if it buds up, but then normally mine bloom a little bit later on in the season. But to show you how it spreads, this is the main plant I planted right here. But then here is another plant right there at the edge of the bed right there. And then here's another one right here. So I definitely have some free plants, but I definitely need to control this guy because if not, this whole bed is going to get taken over. Here's my Pearl Glam Beauty Berry. Love this guy. Does really, really well in my yard. I had bought this in a 1 quart a couple of years ago, guys. And just 1 quart. I mean, the quart itself was big, but the plant was literally like 4 inches tall. And this guy here has been doing so, so well in my garden. You guys know I love this one because you know it's going to have these really nice purple berries in the fall. Let me know if you have the beautiful Pearl Glam Beauty Berry and how it does in your yard. This is my little lime hydrangea. It's beginning to turn nice and green. Now, I got this on clearance as well, and I have it as a center of this bed. Not sure how it's going to deal with August's heat, but I'm liking how it's looking. I've read and I've heard that people say in the South, the white doesn't last too long, and it's going to turn brown right after this, but we shall see. But I'm really, really liking how it's taken to my yard. Look at the beautiful coral flame phlox, guys. I'm really impressed with this phlox. I got this on clearance, and I believe I might have got it from the Monrovia version at my Lowe's. And I've divided it already, and it's doing great. So here's one right here, and here's another one. I definitely moved these from the original place last fall. So this is their first time blooming in their new spot, and they're taking really, really well to it. The Creme de Cassis is still going strong. This is another dahlia that is doing well in my yard, and it requires full sun, hardy from zones 8, and you can see it's all budded up. Now I need to stay on top of this and keep deadheading because you can see I've done some deadheading already, and the more you deadhead, the more new blooms will come out. I'm a big fan of this dahlia. It comes back for me reliably in the last 4 years. Very, very happy with it. It is not all about flowers, guys. My elephant ears are doing great too. Look how huge those ears are, looking really, really nice. I might actually move them from here and put them somewhere else next year, but they definitely are multiplying. Because I remember I bought like a 7-pack from Sam's Club, and they are really dividing. I'm very, very happy with them. These need to be deadheaded too, but these are the knockout roses, one of the most reliable sets of roses in my garden. Disease resistant, no problems at all, blooms, 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 and then all you have to do is cut it back or deadhead it. Looks really, really great, but as you can see, it's been a while that I've cut it back, and I want to definitely keep this guy less than 3 feet tall, but I'm so, so happy with how this guy performs in my yard. This is the Arizona Sun Blanket Flower, also known as Gaillardia, another one that the bees really, really like. Now, this guy, he was looking kind of tired. That's because he's been blooming forever. So I definitely need to cut it back. Now, this guy is not one of the longest living perennials. After a couple of years, it will die off, but it does reseed. And I really, really like them in my garden. Daylilies are still blooming. This particular one here is the Happy Returns. And these guys here are very, very reliable. I don't have to really do too much with any daylily to be honest with you. But these guys just put on the blooms. They are a reblooming daylily, which means that they will bloom for a day and they will bloom a whole set. Then they'll bloom again and keep doing that until we hit our frost. Also blooming, and you've seen these before, this is my liriope or lily turf. Now, these are not a grass. These are actually a grass-like perennial. That's an evergreen for me, but they push out these really nice muscari-like purple blooms in the summer. And as you can see, the bees are loving it. I love them so much that they're lining my foundation bed and also a couple of other beds I have this in the front yard. They look really, really nice. Not only do they have the blooms, they are also variegated. My white wedding hydrangea is still going strong, guys. Love it. This one here is from the folks at Southern Living Plant Collection, and this one does really, really well. It's actually been blooming for quite a while. Look at those florets, guys. So, 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 so gorgeous. It has this really nice pure white, and it has a creamy white. I am loving it. I have been so impressed with this, guys. This one here is the Ragin' Cajun Argentine Ruellia. I love it. This guy here has been performing. I got this guy earlier on in the year at Growers Outlet in a little pot, and I put it in the ground. I still have one that I need to put in the ground. Put it in the ground, and this guy has taken off. It has not wilted from this heat, and I actually see the bees are loving it as well. So definitely, I would definitely recommend this guy, especially if you're in a warm area. Look at these really nice reddish orange blooms, a really nice sight to see, and these beautiful foliage. I've got a lot of roses blooming, including the True Bloom variety. Now, I had bought the True Serenity and the True Passion. This one is True Serenity, and I'm liking how their foliage looks really, really nice. Right, so that's what it is, True Serenity. Bought this as a beer root from, I believe, Walmart. If it's not Walmart, it's going to be Lowe's, right? And they're just doing great. So that's the True Serenity. And then right next to that one is the True Passion. And this is what it's looking like. Really, really nice. Let me get a better view of the actual flower when it's open. Now, I actually thought that the blooms were going to be bigger than that, but no complaints. I still like them. I know a lot of us don't count hostas as blooming plants, but I sure do because I've noticed what it does in my garden. So they are blooming right now. I have several types of hostas, but hostas usually either bloom a white flower or a lavender flower, and they're actually fragrant. Really, really pretty, and the bees love it. The Mystic Spire Sage is still doing great. This one here's another one that the bees absolutely love, and you can see it's still in full bloom. Now, I could cut this back because I'm seeing a lot of the blooms are a bit waning. I could cut this back and I could allow it to give it one more flush, but I usually let it just do a little bit more flowering. And especially there's so many bees on here, I just don't want to cut it up and then the bees don't have anywhere else to go. Now, they do have a lot of options, obviously, because it is a salvia and I have a lot more going on, but I don't like to cut it when there's so many of them swarming. All right, guys, that's pretty much it for me here today. Let me know what you think and let me know how things are treating you in your area. Are you getting a lot of rain? Are you humid? Are you hot? Do you have to still hand water? Let me know, guys. Please like, please share, and please subscribe. Remember, hit that notification bell so when I put out a new video, you'll be one of the first people to know. Thanks and have a great day. Bye-bye.